What's up, guys? I've been wanting to make this video not for days, for weeks, but for years. So I hope you enjoy this and are able to connect to it, empathize with it, relate to it, and everything. So here I go. All right. So what this video is going to be about, and what I will be talking about, to some people may be a delicate subject, something that is sensitive, so I apologize if it brings up certain things or it's a trigger for you. But I'm making this because I've held it in for so long and I've been able to actually open up and talk about certain things as far as the reasonings behind my mental health and my mental health issues. From an earlier age, when I joined the military, I noticed that things were a little bit different in my mind compared to the normal average 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid. And nowadays, everyone has anxiety, right? Everyone has all these things, and that's very common. And so, but I just knew there was times where like everything was so good and right, but things weren't in my mind. And I think the things that made me notice it the most were my parents, believe it or not, because I would come home a lot of the times and visit them when I was stationed in New Jersey at McGuire Air Force Base. I'd go up on weekends sometimes, and at first they thought I was just being mean and short and cruel, but it was just that I was depressed. And, during those times, I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't really understand my depression at the time yet. And that was, my first years in the military. Now, I did 10 and a half years in the Air Force, got out in March of this year. And over those 10 years, I really learned a lot about my own mental health and understanding my mental health to where I can try my best to project a message to help others that have similar problems to mine. Now, the biggest thing I want you guys to know about this, and from my experience, is that every person's different. You can't characterize a depression in one person the same in another. There may be similar traits, similar qualities, similar triggers, similar things that they do. However, not everyone is the same. So everyone's a case-by-case basis, and that's why it's a beautiful thing that we're unique individuals and humans, because we're different. But sometimes even in the darkest moments of our lives, there's things that you think you could just figure out because you had it. It's not necessarily the same for that next person in line waiting to get help. And through all this, before I get into the darker stuff, I want you guys to know that there's people out there that love you. There's people out there that care about you. And if you don't think there are, reach out to me. I don't care if you're a stranger watching my YouTube channel or my Instagram or my TikTok. And also, if I'm not available or if I don't answer the phone or text or message, there's 988, the Veteran Crisis Hotline / National Suicide Awareness / Prevention Hotline. There's Military One Source for you military guys. That is a resource. There's the mental health clinic for you military guys that are watching this. There's NFLAC. There's chaplains. There's a lot of programs for you guys, and I'd say you guys, because being in the military, this is what I've known for the last 10 years, is the services that are there provided for you and the things that people are afraid of going to talk to. And now that I'm out, I could actually fully explain certain things and why I went certain directions and why I didn't. This whole journey I've been on in the military has taught me a lot of things about myself. It helped me grow up from a boy to a man, and I'm still evolving and learning myself every day pretty much. But through that, there's a lot of things in my life that I consider dark, and things that I felt were darker than the usual happy everyday person. And I'm not saying here I had the worst life or anything, not at all. I'm not here to play victim or do a sad story. It's more to share it with you guys. I got married super young. I was still probably immature at the time. The decision-making processes I was doing and the choices I was making and the friends I may or may not had around me at the time, and obviously being gone a lot flying, and I had a lot of stress on me. And again, I take accountability for all my actions with what I do, what I've done, where I've, just any decision I've really made. But, through it all, I got divorced really early as well. And I'm not here to dive into that at all, really. It's more so like that. It's just something I went through. And I think a lot of military members go through divorce, and it's like a statistic, right? If you're in the military, Air Force, especially if you're a flying member in the military, air crew member, the divorce rate's so high. But that happened at a young age for me. During that time, and around that time, was probably around the darkest times of my life, and it wasn't anything specific to any person, because I'm not here to point fingers and blame anyone. A lot of the choices I've made, again, and people I surround myself, were my choice, and but the feelings I had in those moments were very real, and I didn't get the right help, and I didn't utilize my resources the correct way when I should have, which ultimately led me to a darker path. In 2014 to about 2019, I did my fitness journey. Everyone asks, when did you start bodybuilding? Or when did you start fitness? 2014, February, when I got to McGuire Air Force Base. And consistently did it day in, day out. Did it for the competing reasons, did it for the aesthetic reasons, and to maybe help inspire people through the online community, right? And as you guys know how toxic that is, but that wasn't really even the point then. And over time, of years of posting and building my physique and competing and this and that, it was 2019, and I was gonna do a show, and I was really close to a show. Was when the heightenedness of certain parts of the divorce were kind of rougher, and the whole separation process and everything, which obviously messed with me mentally. But from 2019 July till 2020 of October, September's time frame, I did not go to the gym. Over the years, when I say I had the depression, I had these feelings, I had moments of being low, and people ask me if I'm always okay, and making them understand, hey, like, I'm good, but like, you won't understand because it's not a problem that you may have. I did my best to cover it up at times, and this and that, or however you want to say it. But I guess from that time, through all that time, I used fitness and the gym as my source of escape. From being young and not knowing like why I feel like at the time didn't know chemically off in the brain. It sounds really extreme, but just being low and all the time and not really understanding what's going on, and just covering up, go to the gym, you'll feel better, be a man about it, suck it up, be tough. But that's what I was doing, for years. Was I getting help? Yeah, but not enough. And then over time, it just kept building and building. There's these emotions and thoughts and things. And, again, it's cheesy. People say the gym is their savior and stuff. And I wouldn't say it's like the gym saved me. And sometimes I feel like I resort to saying that, but the gym helped me realize like that that's one thing I'm good at, and it's one thing I could be here and do, and I'm like, what I excel at, I'm good at. I help people be happy in that area of the gym. So I was like, this is like a purpose of mine that I have. I feel like I could help people through the gym. So what I started doing was I started motivating and trying to inspire people and help them become better to cope with my own self issues, which sounds crazy because I would sit there and say, hey, get help and do this and be better. And it's like positivity stuff. And over years and years and years building, I was doing it so much that I was neglecting my own. And I never really understood that till like when it finally, bottled up fully. And we all want to help people all the time as much as we can when we can, right? But the bottom line is like sometimes like you're so busy doing stuff for other people, you forget about yourself. And if you continue doing that without realizing it, you start digging yourself into a hole until you realize like you're in a dark, dark, dark pit by yourself. And I'm not saying people aren't there for you, it's just how you feel internally. You're like, what have I done for myself? I'm so worried about other people's happiness. I'm so worried about giving and doing and doing. And then what have I done for myself? And that's where I was. In the summer of 2019, going into the fall of the following year, I didn't go to the gym at all in that time frame. And every day from the summer of, again, 19 to 2020, I drank every single day. During this time, there was COVID. So we were doing online teaching. We weren't having to go into work and teach, so everything was done from home. I was teaching online classes for Zoom to my students and doing this, and that was my day-to-day. Call of Duty, drinking, teaching. That's all I did. I didn't go to the gym. I was eating everything I had in front of me. I felt like, I don't know, I pushed the gym to the side. I gave it up because I thought, hey, maybe let me do something else. Or maybe the gym's not for me. Maybe like I'm gonna find something. But ultimately it just started deteriorating me. I remember like my waist, I mean not some specifics, but just, my waist. Like I have a 29-inch, 30-inch waist, right? And I just felt slowly over that year just like drooping away. And then we're not talking about, because I wasn't lifting or on any of my supplements or anything like that. That's not what I mean. Obviously, those things are going to come if you're not going to the gym, right? But I meant more like deteriorating, like inside, right? I felt like I would go in the mirror every like 3 or 4 weeks because I hated going to the mirror, looking at myself, and I would look. And I would hate it. Like my waist is getting blown out, my stomach, like I wasn't even shaving my chest. Like it was like, who am I? My face was getting chunky. I was drinking so much, I'd wake up and my face would just be completely swollen from pretty much getting drunk the night before. And then waking up and then being like, oh man, it's a Monday or it's a Tuesday. And I did that every night. I drank every night. Some nights I drank till I threw up. I drink some nights where I'd be playing Call of Duty with my best friend, and I would throw up. There was one time I even threw up on myself because I was so messed up that I couldn't get myself to get out of the chair on a Wednesday. And then that continued for a while. That continued with the eating everything on the face of the earth. I've never been like a overweight or chunky kind of individual as far as my physique goes, right? I've always been lean, pretty muscular, and this is the first time where my body wasn't in a gym training consistently or eating any type of somewhat of a managed diet. And I remember we had an early birthday dinner celebration for me. Me and a couple of my day one friends and people I held close to me, all right? And this was an early celebration. We didn't do it on my birthday or anything like that because my birthday will come to a later point. But I remember this was my breaking point where I needed to figure out like what's going on. And this was early September time frame where I had a breakdown, a complete meltdown. I had to figure out, what are you going to wear? What are you going to go wear out to your little celebration with your friends, Danny? And mind you, I haven't been out the house to go anywhere, like dinner-wise, like something nice in a while. And I went to that bedroom, to that, my clothes, and I couldn't tell you, I couldn't find one pair of pants that fit me. I couldn't find a pair of joggers that fit my waist, that were like casually acceptable to go out to dinner in. I couldn't find fitted jeans because my waist was a 38 now from a 29. And even my dress pants, I couldn't get those on me. I sat there and I went through about 40 minutes of going through clothes, and I completely broke down crying in this big walk-in. And I was like, I need a change. Something needs to change. And that's when I was like, I need to get my stuff, I need to get my life together and hold myself accountable. From that point forward was when the emotions hit me. Like, what am I doing? Like, look at how disgusting you are. Like, you're in a failed marriage. You lost all your sponsors. Some of your friends barely talk to you. You don't fit in any of your clothes. You have no direction. And the only thing that's pretty much going or excelling for you is your career, but you can't even really go to it because you're not showing up to work. You're drowning yourself in alcohol. And in the midst of all that, you developed an addiction to cocaine. And I said, like, who are you? Who are you? You know, it's you look yourself in the mirror, like, you have no idea, like, what happened? What happened? And then you start going through your mind all these questions about yourself, like, what led me to this point? Why didn't anyone stop me? Why didn't someone tell me to do better or be better? You start getting to the point in your head when you start feeling worthless. You start getting your mind to where you're like, do I make the people that love me proud? Am I a disappointment to my parents? Like, am I a good enough son? Am I a good enough brother? Those are those thoughts that go through your head. Because, like, you hold yourself accountable for things that you've done and actions and decisions that you've done in your life and the outcomes of them, right? But now you're looking at everything full circle. You're like, do I deserve to be here? When people talk about ending their lives and taking their lives, there's usually different types and ways they do it. Whether it's talking about it to their friends, their close friends, talking about it online, leaving hints. Sometimes they don't discuss it at all. But usually there's some type of blip out there where people know a little bit about what you're going through. Or maybe they have an idea of it, but they might just not know because you're leaving a little bread trail crumb of hints or clues. Or on September 24th, 2020, I tried to take my life. I'm not going to sit here and bring any other people into this or make them feel responsible or anything, given, locations or whatever and all that stuff. But I will share and tell you the process of it without getting too grim. I was in a location where I had given up hope and written the letters I needed to out to the people that I love the most. I took a airplane cargo strap that I had many of in my truck, made a contraption, obviously for the purposes of what I'm talking about, off a thick piping system, and got up there and decided that was my way to go. My thoughts around that time, and I'm going to say this and I hope it doesn't trigger anyone, but when that strap was around my neck and I thought about the things that were going through my mind, was my family and my sister. And all the things I've worked so hard for in my life to make them so proud of me. And I realized, even with that feeling, that strong feeling of love, I had none for myself. So I went and I kicked the stool up underneath me, and I thought that was it. I thought that was the moment that my life was over. I don't know what it was. Obviously, mechanically, I'm about to explain, but I don't know if it was a sign or God or whatever, to where that wasn't my last breath. The piping that I had the structure around burst, causing the water to explode and causing me to be passed out on the floor. Barely conscious, but breathing. I remember in that moment having a panic attack and feeling scared, because I really thought like that was just over, and like, what am I doing? Like I felt scared of myself. I was sitting there in a puddle of water. I'm like, I was scared of myself. That I let myself do this. I've never been more thankful in my entire life. After walking out of that garage, I could have kissed the ground. I almost couldn't believe myself, and I promised myself that I was going to get more serious help, and I did. The things that led me to do something like this, you may not understand specifically, and it wasn't just not going to the gym. It's feeling worthless. It's not feeling happy enough about yourself. It's realizing you feel empty, like a hollow shell. It's feeling like the world's going on around you and it's all colors and all you feel is just black and white every day. And if you aren't the person that changes that, then it's going to be too late. And I was almost too late. Coming fast forward through a bunch of that time after, you know, I got help, professional help, started talking about it more, started doing even more advocating online about it. At this point, I was really pushing mental health on my social medias because, again, people didn't know obviously what went on, but I wanted to help someone never get to that point. If I was able to get a message out there to help someone that was possibly going through anything similar to me, I was going to do it. I got so much backlash all the time for it. For why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And you know what? I don't care. There's a lot of guys that said so many things about not being a man or this emotion, that emotion. And I'll tell you this straight up. Talking about your emotions as a man is the most manliest thing you can do. Be tough all you want. Toughen up, buttercup. All that stuff your parents said to you back then, that's cool and dandy. And it may have helped you when you were a child. Or you may have think it helped you as a child, but ultimately all it does is suppress the stuff that you have going on inside. If you don't get help, if you let this stuff get to you, it bottles, and bottles. And one day it explodes, and guess what? That's it. I want you guys out there watching this video. I don't want you to feel bad for me. I don't want you to feel so. This isn't me playing victim or, again, making a sad story about me and Danny, me. I'm sharing this with you because I've never publicly talked about this to anyone besides a few select close people in my life. This is the first time a lot of my friends and my family is going to see this. And I'm okay with that. But I want all of you guys to know that I'm better and I'm okay, and I'm always striving my best to figure out my life in the happiest form possible. Even today, even this last couple of weeks, I'm trying new things to help me. This whole transition out of the military, it's been really different. Stressful in a lot of ways, feel lost in a lot of ways, but also realizing that, hey, I have means now to take steps for my mental health, and I'm doing so. And I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to do the same. I want you to get help. I want you to talk to your friends about it. I want you to talk to your parents about it. Your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your brother, your sister. It doesn't matter. And they may not have the right professional words to say to you, but a listening ear and a shoulder to cry on when you need it the most is better than sitting there alone and questioning your own life. There's people out there that love and support you. I don't care what background you're from, what race, religion, what sex you are, what you are, all this new age, I don't care what it is that you are. You're a human being. You belong here. I'm not sitting here trying to be this whole emotional, human being, but you're important. You're worthy. You deserve all the love and support. And guess what? You feel like you've messed up in your life? You feel like you've let people down? You've screwed things up? Well, guess what? Cool. Learn from it. Get back on the saddle and keep riding. It's not the last. It's not the end of the world if you didn't do something right the first time or the second time or the third time. Sometimes it's messing up 5 times. That 6th time is so rewarding because you got it right. I have done that with so many different things in my life, and I'm still every day learning myself and still messing up things, but learning from them. It's part of being a human being, but it doesn't mean that you're not good enough. You're important. You're loved. Find things in your life that are going to help you. If you need help, go get that help, but also find other means. Go on, do activities with your friends. Find a hobby, basketball, lacrosse, football, go to the gym. You guys follow me, Danny Swole, muscles, this and that. This is my getaway. Do you understand that? Like, why don't you compete? Why don't all these questions? You realize, like, I've never done this for competing. I've done this because it's what keeps me here. Like it keeps me wanting to be here because I feel like I'm doing something by it. I feel like I'm giving. Like I'm putting so much of my heart into this every single day. And it's not for someone to learn how to do a leg press properly or how to bench press properly. It's to show the passion I put into this every single day. That helps me with my issues. So maybe that someone out there is like, hey man, he's going so hard at this. He has so much love for it. Maybe I should go do the same thing. I'm so tired of losing people in my life that I felt like I did enough for and that I was too late. I've lost so many people. And it breaks my heart because like I thought I was doing enough, and it's like you can't blame yourself though. I'll forever preach this message about mental health that hits home to me. I'm not embarrassed by it. I never have been. I'm just more vocal about it now, and I'm glad I got this off my chest because this is a big burden that's been sitting on me to where I haven't been able to say certain things to people online before. It's like, oh, you talk about mental health. What is so crazy about your life? Nothing's crazy about my life, but I've been through experiences that have made me feel not good enough to a point where I almost didn't want to be here and actually tried to not be here one day. And I'm not proud of that, but guess what? I've evolved. I've gotten help and I've gotten better, and I'm still getting better. Just one text, one phone call. Check up on your friends. Check up on your homies, people that you love. And even if they are okay, and if everything is fine and dandy, every once in a while I'll sit them down and make sure that they are. A smile on the outside, laughter, emotion, all that stuff doesn't mean that they're screaming on the inside. And I promise you that because that was my life for years. Again, I hope I didn't trigger anyone by talking about my incident. I try to keep it as short as possible. But I got through that and I'm here. I thank God every single day. I have people around me that love and support me, the ones that truly do. And I'm thankful for that. And they remind me how awesome that I am. And I make sure that the ones that are around me that I hold closely to the same way also know the same thing. Tell the people that are there and actually in your corner, your family members, your close friends, that you love them. It's not corny, it's not weird, none of that. Tell them you love them, tell them that they're doing an awesome job. Even if they may not be, I'm not saying lie to them, but encourage them to be their best. I hope you guys take something out of this video and maybe it encourages you to get off, take that first step, because you may be still sitting in the seat that I'm sitting in now and being afraid to get help, but I'm encouraging you to take that next step to get help. You deserve it. I hope everything in this video ties together and tells the importance of how amazing you are, whoever view or wherever it is that you are. I may not know you, and I'm not saying the world is perfect, but none of us are. We're all trying to be the best versions of ourselves every day. So let us do that. Let us be here and do that together. That is why I try to uplift the people around me, not bring them down. I'm surrounded by negativity so much of my life, so what do? I try to push out positivity. I don't care if it's in your face. I'd rather do that than stoop down to that level, because I know how that person feels when they're being stooped down upon and being talked down on. Be nice, be kind, give love, show love. Do the things that you love unapologetically. Be who you are, don't hide. And always be proud. Always be proud of yourself. And always know that you could always be better. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week. Thank you for listening to my story. I try to put it together as best as possible. When I talk about this kind of stuff internally in my own head, it's in like 40 different places, so I try to get it out as clean as I could. But I felt it was fair to share this with you guys, to give you the truth behind the reasons why I'm so into mental health. So, you're important, you're worthy, you're loved, And there's only one you. And no one could do you better than you. And you belong here. Have a great day, and God bless.